Alright, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So this video is going to be about father and son bodybuilders. Now this first picture here is going to be Dorian Yates and his son Lewis Yates in that side pose. Now I think they look very similar here in terms of structure, but obviously Lewis is a lot smaller than his father Dorian, who was obviously known for being one of the first mass monsters in IFBB professional bodybuilding. Here's a photo of them. This is a younger photo of Dorian, obviously. I thought it would be a more accurate representation since his son is only in his early 20s. I thought they'd look a lot more similar when they're both younger, hitting this abs and thighs pose. Obviously, you can see some of the genetic similarities between them, especially in the midsection. There's a photo of just Dorian. Let's go back here. So there's a photo of his son. This is the photo that I've seen where his son is looking the biggest outside of Temple Gym, which Dorian owns. There's a photo of his son's back. Let me zoom in here. You can see they definitely have the same shape to their lats, but obviously his son doesn't have the size that he had. Here's another photo, side-by-side comparison from that side shot. Again, looking very similar. Let's go back another. There's Dorian's abs and thighs. There's just a solo shot of his son there. So the next set of photos we have is going to be Sergio Oliva Sr. and Sergio Oliva Jr. So if we zoom in here, this is them hitting the victory pose. I actually think his son, Jr., has almost a better pose than him because his lats look so much wider and more flared out. They definitely have a similar waist structure. His son has better legs, I think. His son might have had better chest, but I think Senior had better arms and forearms in my opinion. There's a shot of Sergio Oliva Senior's front double bicep. Let's go back a couple shots here. There's a most muscular comparison, Junior on the right, Senior on the left. Here's a 4-frame shot of Junior. That most muscular there, I think actually looks better than his father's most muscular here. There again is the victory pose. I think Junior is a little younger in this pose. His pose doesn't look as good, but again, look at their midsections. You can definitely see the genetics coming through in the midsection. They have very similar, really tight waists. So that does it for the Sergio Oliva Sr. and Sergio Oliva Jr. father-son comparison. Next we have Lee Labrada and Hunter Labrada. Lee Labrada is going to be on the left. Hunter is going to be on the right. Again, you can definitely see a lot of similarities in the front, especially in the pec insertions, the shape of the shoulders, and the waistline again. These photos of Hunter here are going to be from the 2016 Branch Warren Classic. Now, to my knowledge, this is the only major show that that Hunter has done in 2016. So these are the most recent photos of Hunter in competition shape to compare with his father. I think his father had a little bit better legs than him, but he was still a pretty damn good looking bodybuilder. Hunter, I believe, definitely has some potential. So here's Lee holding up his son's hand after he won. There's a photo of Lee's front double bicep. There's a solo photo of Hunter. Let's go back here. So there's a back double bicep shot. There's a side tricep shot in the gym. So obviously Hunter's pretty big. I believe he's 4 or 5 inches taller than his dad, and he's over 200 pounds on stage. I know that. I think he's about 220 on stage, and his dad was closer to 200 when Lee competed. So here's the back double bicep shot. There's Hunter backstage. Here's a side tricep comparison. They look very similar in this shot, I think, in terms of structure. They definitely have some similar conditioning here with the vascularity in the arms. I think obviously Lee is a lot more conditioned than Hunter, but you can definitely see the potential there for Hunter to have some similar conditioning to Lee. So there's that front lat spread again. So that does it for Lee and Hunter Labrada. So finally, actually not finally, this is second to last, we have John Della Rossa and Pop Della Rossa, as he goes by on Instagram. So in this case, this is a little different than the other cases, because in the other cases, the father was the better bodybuilder, the legendary bodybuilder, the old school guy that had all the accomplishments. In this case, John Della Rossa is the accomplished bodybuilder, and the father didn't really accomplish as much as John did, but they both had great physiques. So here's John's father. I believe he's in his 50s now, so this is pretty good for a 50-year-old man. There's a side chest from his father. So there's John, And this next photo will be his dad. So let's zoom in here. See if I can get it to zoom. So they definitely have very similar structures. You can see, look at his delts, traps, and pecs. Now let's go to John. Look at his delts, traps, and pecs. Very similar structure. They're both very short guys, and they both have very similar insertions and muscle bellies. And look at their quad sweeps. They almost have the exact same quad sweeps. So that's crazy similarities in terms of genetics for these two guys. So finally, we have Darum Charles and his son Rennell Charles. Now this photo, I believe, is from a guest posing they did. But let's look at some similarities, some side-by-side shots. Here's an abs and thighs of Darum next to his son Rennell. I think Rennell's leg genetics might be a little bit better than Darum's, but you can definitely see the similarities in the upper body, especially the chest. Here's a most muscular. If you compare their biceps, you can definitely see he passed down those bicep muscle bellies. There's definitely some similarities in the biceps there. There's a front double bicep comparison. And I think now Rennell is doing classic physique. Those are definitely classic physique shorts. And his dad is also doing classic physique now. So that's pretty interesting that they're both competing in the same division. Now here's a photo of Rennell looking a little bit bigger than some of those previous photos that we saw. So I think that's it for the video, guys. Give the video a thumbs up if you have this connection or had this connection with your dad. And think that bodybuilding is a great thing to share with your dad. And if you didn't have that connection with your dad, like this video if you plan on sharing this connection with your son, taking your son to the gym, teaching him how to lift weights, etc. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out.